Alright, here we go. This is it right here, folks. The holy grail, jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife, the one that photographers dream about. Okay, I don't know if any of that's true, but I have dreamed about this lens since I first got into photography. It is the Canon 24-70 F2.8 L series lens. This is the RF mount for Canon's mirrorless lineup. I've had the lens for about a month now. I've got to use it on a variety of client shoots. So I'm gonna break it down and basically discuss whether or not you should purchase this lens. Long story short, here's the deal. If the main reason that you use your camera is for paid work purposes, then yes, invest in this lens. If the main reason you bring out your camera is to shoot photos of your family and friends, hold off on this one. I've got a few other recommendations for lenses you should check out. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alright, what is up you guys? If you just stumbled upon my channel, welcome. My name's Kevin Camus. I own a creative agency here in Grand Rapids, Michigan called the Camus Collection. We provide web design, photography, videography, and graphic design for small businesses. And I like to make YouTube videos talking about small business marketing, productivity, entrepreneurship, and photography. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It lets me know that you guys like this type of content. Alright, enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about camera lenses today. Okay, so this is Canon's 24-70 f2.8 L series lens. This is the RF mount for their mirrorless lineup. You can pick this baby up from either B&H Photo or your local camera shop for a smooth $2,199. Yes, I know that is a large amount of money to spend on a camera lens. So that's why I'm making this video, to talk about, how you decide whether or not to invest in equipment like this. Notice how I said invest. Let me explain. So how do you begin to justify when you should spend over $2,000 on a piece of camera equipment? This is how I look at it. If the main reason that you're using your camera is for paid work purposes, where you're doing paid shoots for clients, or that's what you want to do, then you can begin to consider investing in equipment like this. Top of the line professional equipment like this allows you to deliver a premium level product to your clients in a wide variety of situations. A 2.8 aperture zoom lens like this, what it allows you to do is produce good photos in a wide variety of situations. For example, like if you're on a site at a shoot and you have less than ideal lighting conditions, you're gonna be fine because you can open it up to 2.8. If it starts raining a little bit, where the shoot has to go on, it's weather sealed. A camera lens like this should really be seen as a tool that allows you to conduct business. I remember when I was in high school and throughout college, I worked at a ski resort here in town. I remember when I was talking to some of the maintenance guys, they were explaining to me how their tool sets would cost like $25,000, and I was just like mind blown how they could spend so much money on tools. And they explained to me that those high quality tools allowed them to conduct their line of business. The tools are used for a work purpose. So yeah, I kind of relate that to like camera equipment, the difference between enthusiast and professional level equipment. Ask yourself, what is your purpose for doing photography? Are you doing it just for fun, or are you doing it for work? And I'm not saying you can't do both, because like, don't get me wrong, like I shoot photos for fun all the time, with my friends with this setup, but the reason that I have this setup is for work. On the other hand, if you're someone that's just getting into photography, or you're doing it as a hobby, I'd probably recommend holding off on this one. I actually have a few recommendations for some other lenses you should check out. Instead, you should consider checking out Canon's 35mm f1.8 or Canon's 50mm f1.8 lens. You can pick up the 35mm for $449, and you can pick up the 50mm for only $199. These are both great lenses that I've used. They're prime lenses. They're super fast. They have that low 1.8 aperture. I actually love shooting with prime lenses. I feel like it makes me be a bit more creative with how I frame up the photos. You actually have to move around instead of relying on the zoom. My one complaint with the 24-70 lens is that it has a lock on it, but it can only lock when it's all the way open at 24 millimeters. I don't know the mechanics of this, so I might get called out in the comments. I wish it could lock at the 35mm, the 50mm, and the 70mm focal lengths so that I could get the feeling of a prime lens when I wanted that. It really does make a difference if you actually have to like move your feet and kind of get in different angles instead of relying on the zoom. It allows you to get pretty creative shots. So yeah, if you're shooting for paid client work, I mean the 24-70 is a beast of a lens. I literally use it for like 80% of all my client work. I shoot on a Canon R6 and the two paired together are just incredible. Got lightning fast autofocus, razor sharp images, great low light, pretty much everything you would expect from a top of the line professional lens. I do mostly still photography for work, and then I do use it to film all these YouTube videos. This box is totally empty, by the way. I'm using it as a prop. The camera lens is on the camera. This picture you're looking at right now is shot with the R6 with the 24-70 on it. You get this cool little soft pouch thing. Also, I don't find myself using it that much because the lens is always on my camera, so yeah, that's how much I use the lens. See, I invested money up front to buy the lens, and then used this asset essentially to produce content that will then pay for the cost of the lens and then eventually turn a profit. I feel like I'm back in finance class now. So if you're gonna use this lens as a tool to conduct business and allow you to do paid client shoots, go ahead and invest in it. It's a wonderful lens that if you take good care of it, it'll last you a long time and it'll pay for itself in a few shoots, and then now you have an asset that will make you money. However, if you're shooting for fun or as a hobby, you know, I would strongly recommend looking at some of the cheaper alternatives. You see, as you spend more and more money on camera equipment, it does start to have a diminishing return. Casey Neistat has one of my favorite videos of all times where he goes into this. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it right now. I'll put a link for it below. But he talks about how if you have a $100 camera setup, right, you know, you could produce work that is this good. Okay, and then if you have a $500 camera setup, you can produce work that is this good. And then if you have a $2,000 camera setup, you know, you might be able to produce work that is like this good. A $2,000 camera setup is not 4 times as good as a $500 setup. He explains it really well. If you haven't seen it, he like draws his graphs. It's really funny. You should go watch it. It's actually like useful knowledge if you're into photography. If you're interested in that 35mm or that 50mm prime lens, go watch Peter McKinnon's recent video he put out talking about the 50mm. He has a bunch of really valuable information in it and kind of explains why that lens is so valuable. Alright, there you go. That is my thoughts on Canon's 24-70 f2.8 lens. I hope you learned a thing or two from this. If you have any questions at all, please drop a comment below. I'm always here to help. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really does help my channel grow, and I would really appreciate it. Yeah, there you go. Catch you guys in the near future, and I will see you later.